I love working with a team towards a common goal.
For the camaraderie.
Camaraderie and playing with my teammates.
I play for my team.
Teamwork and the connections that I can build on and off field.
For the community and the exercise.
Because of the community and the competition.
I like playing Ultimate Frisbee for the competition.
I play for the competition and the fun.
For fun.
Because fun.
I love getting to work hard.
You get out of it what you put into it.
Leave everything out here.
Every time I step on the field, I want to be a better player.
You know, give something people to talk about.
Be happy but never satisfied. To step away from real life and focus on Frisbee.
I play because I love Ultimate.
Find your drive.
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 All right. Welcome. Thank you for all those who took a brief break after that exciting Open semifinal. What we have for you today is the 2024 Canadian Ultimate Championships Mixed Division Final. Unfortunately, we will not be able to stream the Open Final for you all today because we will be streaming the Women's Final, which excitingly will be Salty versus Stella, a rematch of the No Borders final from earlier this season. But right here we have Harfang, who's had a very, very exciting day today. First, they beat provincial rivals in Quest from Quebec City, and then they went on to I don't know if you call it an upset, but they beat Lax, the same team they beat in the finals of Quebec. So this is their first time playing a team not from Quebec today. And then Tobe, who's also had an exciting day. Call it an upset over PBHD from Winnipeg. They went undefeated through pool play. And then they were able to best Richmond Royals from Richmond, British Columbia here. And I am not alone on this broadcast for this final. I am with
Clay Howlett here, second stream of the day. Yes, sadly, the Royals from Richmond, my hometown, were taken out. But nevertheless, I'm definitely excited for this call in this mixed final. Harfang has just had a great tournament, been using the conditions to get things done, stayed quite cohesive as a team. We've seen some big plays early in the tournament from some players like Simon Martin, Molly Filion, and others. And Tobe, we recognize a bunch of names down there as it is a quote-unquote retired team of friends that have decided to return and play the best Ultimate that they can.
And not in the same sense of retired as I haven't been playing for a few seasons. A lot of these players have been, even on Team Canada as recently as this season. So retired meaning they don't want to practice all summer with a club team, but not retired in a sense of they will be slow and a step behind. As you can see, they've gotten into the final here. So notable points for this game. Unfortunately, Adam Turcotte and Michelle Ng, both injured, will be helping a lot with the coaching of this game. Michelle, unfortunately, joining the ACL tear group, a growing group in this sport. And coaches for Harfang are going to be Alexandre Merion and Jeremy Tremblay-Ramiad. So we will start with a female matching point, meaning there will be 4 female matching players on the field. It looks like Galipo Lessard, number 99, will start us with a big pull here. And this is going to be our first look up at the very experienced Tobe D-line. So Wong centering to Kelvin Huang. Huang finding McCrae. Look a lot for Sydney Trong here, number 4, isolated, but she will be a very big threat to any female matching player. Aitken moving it over to Huang. Huang finding McCrae, and that's an easy score to put Tobe up 1.
Tobe doing an excellent job showing us their knowledge of mixed ultimate, as that was a female matching point. So there were 4 female matching players on the field compared to the 3 male, and the 3 male were left back in the handler core out of the vertical stack to basically make it the show for the women downfield in that vertical stack. And they were able to cycle quite easily as there was no poach from any male players. And then afterwards, once that pattern was started and the space was opened up, those male match players came back to get involved to get the score.
Yeah, and the way mixed works, because you do have two different matching genders on the field, they will rotate playing two male matching player points right now and then two female matching player points right after. So it looks like, I believe that's Jackie Howe who's going to be in the pull, who's going to be pulling for this team as a male matching player. And yep, Tobe just having an O-line group and a D-line group versus Harfang, who's been practicing all season, will have a solid O-line and rotate between two D-line pods. So big pull here coming from Howe. Looks like Jason Lamb will be running down the pull to cover that first throw, but Ul still getting the disc. Going all the way around to Bousquet.
There's a pick call about 3 throws ago. If this is reeled in, the goal will not count.
Yeah, that is Alexandre Dubois. And so when Harfang faced Danger Noodle on our stream just a couple of days ago, he was tearing it up in the deep space.
He was tearing it up in the deep space, and as he does there, it does not count because a pick was called, and after every call, there's usually one continue. That means the throw, if it's in the air, completes, or if a pass has been caught, you get one more throw off that play before play has to stop dead.
So Bousquet will retain possession. Looking for some reset. Looks like it was a high stall count, but looking for Dubois, and a huge grab here, continuing over to Desrosiers Cubic. And what an exciting start for Harfang here in the mixed final.
So, Devon, I have to explain why that grab was insane.
Tell me.
That Dubois caught that with his right hand as the disc was moving from the right side of his body to the left. That was the flight path, which meant as he laid out, he caught the trailing edge. He reached out with his right hand, swung it around towards his body in front of him to catch what is essentially the rear, the aft of the disc, as you will, as it sailed through the air. An extremely difficult catch to make, one he had to make due to the fact of where his feet was and how he took off. It was the only way he could step. Such a difficult catch to make because your timing has to be pristine. So I'm kind of melting down over here with the quality of that catch, even though you might just be saying, Clay, it's just a layout. You've seen it before.
Yeah, just a layout, but a very difficult layout at that. Still counted for the same, doing what he has to do to keep the disc alive. So it looks like it will be Tremblay-Remiard with the pull. I lied. Pull from the Harfang player, Tremblay-Remiard, and number 20, Louis-Philippe Crépeau, working hard to cover the pull. That is Zhang working to Kinoshita. Kinoshita over to Kuo. Kuo resitting to Wong. Lots of person-to-person pressure, but Tobe fighting it. Tiffany Zhang here on the close side, hitting that nice inside to Daniel Wong. Wong finding Kuo. Kuo telling them to chill out and finding Kelvin Huang at the front cone, beating Corriveau Pelletier to that front side.
Tobe is really showing some wheels and timing, really able to get open on that open side quite easily. I'm just kind of teeth barred a little bit and just wondering what you can say aside from they are just outrunning Harfang on the open side.
Yeah, Tobe does have some mixed experience. They have a few players coming over from the Toronto Union group, the top touring team in the Greater Toronto area. So it's not like they're just a bunch of single-gendered players who came into the mixed division, but a lot of them do have a lot of experience in the single-gendered open and women's division that they are bringing here. But Harfang, a team that's had a lot of continuity from last season. They were coming back from a 16th place at Nationals here, and just 1 year later, the same group finding themselves in the finals now. How about that?
Massive achievement.
Looking to make Quebec proud. So, Alexandre Mérion fielding this pull. for Harfang. Just a little drop by Babo here to start off the point. The inside just a little too far, having to reach. Jason Wynn picking up, moving it over to Tan. Tan, a player, big inside flick hook, looking for Ing Chen. And that is a nice layout to reel in their first break of this final.
Ing Chen, I mean, speed. Speed. That's just getting everything done for the offense on tobe here. We've seen the conditions play a big part in games today, particularly the wind on discs that are thrown with an edge. So showing the edge of the disc, showing either face of the disc to the wind has pushed them down to the ground. As we just saw, it caused that turnover for Harfang. So I expect to see that go both ways in this game. That way it didn't go the way of Harfang, but right now it's just the sheer velocity that these tobe players are traveling with that is giving them the lead.
Velocity is right. And speaking of velocity, I think tobe is like a play on words from the haiku anime, the volleyball anime. Are you familiar with it at all?
I am not.
I'm not either, so we're not going to speak too much on it. But they are a bunch of friends who eat noodles and watch anime together. So big pull coming up here by Huang. So centered over to Merion. Merion working with Ul. Looks like they're just second guessing a couple of these shots. Hitting an inside shot here. Just a miscommunication with...
Yeah.
Sorry, go for it. All right, so tobe working it quickly over. Lam to How. How to Ulalin. Ulalin. Big bit over by Ul. And Lam, that pressure just pushing Lam to catch it out of bounds.
The observers make active in and out calls for out of bounds. They don't do up and down. They do lines and times. So the active out of bounds call there.
So Ul shooting to Desrosier Cubic. Catching an acre of space, but saying the pick occurred early on at the start of her cut.
So some discussion to be had. We've got 4 observers on the crew for this game, so lots of perspective and can quickly resolve these discussions when they happen. So
I believe Desrosier Cubic will be making a case saying that number 8 Lily Huang should just catch up because there was separation to start. And Huang probably saying, I didn't have a chance to get to this because it occurred so early. So they will be sending the disc back. So Ul will get the disc on the sideline here. So back to where we start for the pick happened. Like I said, hopefully in the future of Ultimate, there's just lasers on the ground pointing at where you have to be. But interesting defense setup where all of tobe is on the open side of the disc. No sloughs in the lane to take away the break side.
I think they're
hoping
playing.
Jason Lam will just do all that work.
The wind has been pushing down from the top to the bottom of the screen, so I get that look.
And still another Huck looking for Sansang. And like you said, difficult shot with the direction of the wind.
Exactly what tobe was baiting there. That's the shot they want Harfang to take. Pays off.
And Huang picking it up, hoping to march this disc up for tobe. Finding How in the backfield. Shouting for stuff. Jason Lam providing some relief. And I believe a pick being called with a Bronco
now
on the ground.
On that pick call, for those that don't know, that will stay with the receiver as they were not actually part of the pick that occurred.
All right, Lamb finding Howe in the break reset space. Quo, hands open, saying, I'm open, hit me. And then he hucks it up to Howe. Is it going to be too far? Big bid attempt, but just short from Howe. And I believe you know a bit about Howe this year, don't you, Clay?
Yes, I do. He is playing Team Canada Open Masters. He is the baby on the team.
Baby as a 33-year-old, yeah.
Yes, isn't that funny?
All right. Uhl picking up for Harfang. Finding Sansain. Oh, sorry. Now finding Sansain. That was Bronco finding Sansain. Sansain looking for a big shot. Uhl was isolated deep. Can he box out? And it looks like Quo took position and affected Uhl's Captain Vincent Uhl's jump. I think it's a bit of a hard sell when Quo was standing stationary, right, Clay?
I agree. Quo stopping, deciding what his position was, establishing a pivot. He literally did not come off the ground. While they may have jumped at the same time, I think it was hard for me to tell if Uhl did jump forward, but I feel that, Quo did everything he could to establish position, and the call is retracted. So I do believe that that is great spirited resolution after some talk. Sometimes, you know what happens when there's contact? It's your first instinct to call a foul, right? And sometimes you do need a minute in the self-officiated game just to work out, you know what, that was just a reaction.
So Lamb tapping it in here. Nice around over to Howe. And then the long give and go, but we had the Harfang defender breaking up that deep pass. So we have Bousquet working over to Sansain. Faking off Marion in the reset space. Number 4, Molly Filion resetting this to Uhl. And Uhl going to take a big shot looking for Sansain. And that is a nice shot
very
for
nice shot.
the Harfang hold after they got broken in the previous point.
That, I like talking about awesome throws. That was a fantastic throw, as while the receiver was super deep there, Uhl's throw still had enough zip behind it to lead her, and no one was in the area, and that was that Sansang with the goal?
Sansang with the deep strike.
If you can lead Sansang there, even if her check is quick and behind her, there's no way the defense is going to catch up. What a rip by Uhl.
And we do love the Harfang system there, you know, giving space to their female matching players to make those deep strikes, and no male matching player could poach there because of the great spacing by the offensive group.
Yep. An extra thing to learn in mixed compared to some of the other divisions. While that applies in every division, you don't want, you know, a poaching defender. It does change things when you are often confronted with a height difference in the mixed division.
All right. Big pull coming up. And just out of bounds there from Samuel Nedo from the Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu squad.
Out of bounds pull means they'll be taken at the brick. The brick is a spot on the field 15 yards outside of the end zone in the center where the disc is put into play.
So Jason Wynn tapping it in. Philibert on the mark. Now that is Wong over to Huang. Huang and Wong working closely together. McCray getting it, continuing the march up the sideline, this open sideline. Huang now resetting it, getting off the line to McCray. McCray in a few weeks will be competing for Team Canada in the mixed division. His first appearance on TC. And McCray working quickly over to Huang. Just a little give and go there at the front of the end zone to put Tobe up 4-2.
I mean, I'm just going to keep saying it. This offense from Tobe, when they run the short game, it's all the wheels. We did see them come up with a big huck reception earlier, a big deep shot. and it was their speed that brought that in. But when they run that short game, their first step in the acceleration is just so powerful that Harfang hasn't had an answer for. We saw them a little while ago throw two away deep, so a good adjustment by them to go back to the short game after also establishing that they're going to throw deep. And I like to say that to teams, you need to establish that you have everything in your arsenal so that your opponent respects it, right? You don't want them to clamp down on only one end of the field because they have figured out that's all you're going to do. You want to show them that there's lots of options, lots of things you can do, so that they have to play very honest defense all the way up and down the field. And now that Tobe has done that, they have a chance to work the under.
Yeah, I like to say the most dangerous types of O-lines from my defensive perspective are the O-lines that can score in different ways. It's not like, hey, we just have to shut down their handlers and we'll be okay. Or, hey, we have to just shut down their deep cuts and we'll be okay. When they can score in multiple ways, by working the under, by working the break side, by using all of their players, that's when it's so hard to game plan as a defender. But Tan here with the pull, landing out of bounds. So it looks like Oul and Merion will be working in the backfield. Looking like an interesting split stack here. You have two male matching players on the far side of your screen, and we have three female matching players in a three stack on this side of the screen. So let's see what they do.
I think the men are going to go first, so there's no poaches deep.
So isolating, finding Bousquet. Bousquet resetting to Oul. And then Oul faking off the deep strike. Probably faked out our camera too. But that is going to be Babu resetting it to Marion. Now Desrosiers Quebec going for a far side, looking for Dubois again. And that is deep strike Dubois catching another goal in the end zone.
Also coming out of the hands, Vincent Oul, who has been a huge shooter for Harfang. Tavon, we talked about in the last game that we streamed a little bit of teams recognizing quickly which players are connecting with each other and taking advantage of that. I think we're going to see the disc in Oul's hands very, very much. And if he and Dubois keep going on the same line, I think we can expect a few more hucks to him from Oul this game. Or at the least, I would love to see Harfang exploit that.
Yeah, Clay putting in his little commentator's wish list early on this match. Yeah, we'll see. It looks like it's working for Harfang, and as I said in the previous point, you do want to see a versatile O-line. At the end of the day, you have to go with what's working.
You do have to go with what's working. A lot of teams pride themselves, and so does Harfang, and so does Tobe, on using the depth, treating the team as a family. Everybody has contribution, and sometimes part of that team identity is recognizing, who in our family is absolutely fantastic right now? Person A and B, and we should highlight them and have them do some awesome things.
All right, big pull there. Center to Huang. Over to Wang. Looks like Harfang's in a bit of a zone set here. Interesting. Zhang working it over on the far side to Kinoshita. Tiff Zhang getting a lot of experience here from Toronto Sixers, but taking her talents to the West Coast and playing with red flag this weekend. But a turnover looking for Ulalin, giving a half field to Harfang to work with. So that's number 20, Crépeau, shaking free of Huang. Now looking for Martin up the line. Steps outside their end zone now. Putting out an OI flick. Looks like McCray can poach off. And the skying grab. And I believe that is number 79, Benedict Naudin, calling a foul.
Well, my take was there wasn't any contact, and I think that's the only thing that matters.
I believe that on McCray going down, Naudin was coming up, and she felt that contact on the way up. However, McCray had already caught the disc.
I'm glad you said that because, she does not have the eyes in the back of her head. And, yeah, we see her signaling that, yeah, I felt that I was contacted from behind, so I didn't know. But after some explanation, she understands. Once again, it's just getting that contact, right? You can't see behind you, and you wonder, ow, what the heck, foul. And then upon getting more perspective, you realize it's not.
So McCray with the big huck looking for Huang. Martin in the area. And Martin Adam Gauvin wiping that disc away. So Martin looking for a reset now. Crépeau getting open on McCray. Over to Gauvin. Gauvin to Martin. Martin putting up a big huck. Looking for a female matching player in Galipo-Lessard. Another turnover from this Harfang D-line. So, Tiffany Zhang being trusted with this Tobe offense, hoping to march it up, but we will see if this D-line zone from Harfang can go the mile upfield. Nice away flick to Trong, and she attacks it early. Moving it over to Huang and Kinoshito in the middle of the field. It looks like Harfang has melted into the zone, so Zhang sending it over to Trong. Trong doing so much work downfield, getting open at will. Zhang moving over to McCray. McCray looking off that shot to Wang in the end zone. Harfang just trying to organize, finding their matchups. Wang unmarked in the middle of the field, steps outside the end zone. Very dangerous to leave a player of his caliber unmarked here. Over to Huang, and Huang finding McCray for the open side goal. 5-3 Tobe. And interesting to note, Harfang, they tried something new, throwing a zone on the turn, but struggled to pick up their matchups, their person-to-person checks, as they transition into a person defense. So they're going to have to look to clean up that zone transition, because clearly Tobe was able to take advantage of it in the second half of the field. Hey Clay, how you doing?
Good. We are just sorting some things out to make sure the broadcast is uninterrupted for you for the rest of the day. Following this game, you'll be able to catch the women's game final on Rogers TV, which can be accessed through our links on the tournament website.
I was about to say, you're so silly. We don't have cable anymore these days. Only streaming services for people my age.
Yeah, but through Rogers TV. But also, unfortunately, we have to tell you that thanks to some lightning delays, or not delays, but lightning forecasts tomorrow. Lightning threats. We will not be able to bring you the open final.
But that open final will contain Mephisto, who you just saw beat Red Circus 15-11 on stream, and Phoenix, who beat General Strike from Ottawa's Phoenix, who beat General Strike 12-10 in the other semifinal. So Tam with the out-of-bounds pull here, allowing Harfang and Ul to work the disc to the brick mark. So win on the mark here. We see a person matchup from Harfang. That's Marcelino, poached off, trying to take away some of the easy options, but still a scuba over to Bousquet. And I believe a pick called, calling people back. So vertical offense from Harfang right now. Bousquet working it over to Dubois. Dubois just a little too far for Ul.
Tight pass. I think he was looking over the other shoulder at first, so didn't quite get a read.
So Win with the nice backhand hook, looking for Aitken. And Aitken with the layout grab in the end zone. Aitken, one of the few players here not from Toronto. She's coming out from Winnipeg, taking her experience from Fusion into this mixed final here. And you can see her teammates celebrate that layout.
Pretty fantastic grab. Hitting the deck early as to not land or sail out of bounds. When players land on the line first, it is ruled out. So Aitken making the commitment early to reel that in. The score now 6-3. I do not believe this is a timeout call from Harfang. I was talking earlier how Quebec teams tend to all come together after every point and speak about what they have to do.
Yes, you are right. Not a timeout call. Looks like similar O-line suspects are out. Harfang trusting in their O-line to get them back onto the board. They're now just down 2 breaks, I believe. So Tan ready to pull for Tobe. Tan a Toronto native, but has been in the States for a couple seasons, you know, playing with the New York Empire in the UFA and Boston Sprocket in the U.S. club scene. But I guess he must have said, I miss home, I miss my friends, let me come play nationals with them. Clay, do you ever miss home and miss your friends?
Very much so, but I'm excited to go home, see my dog, see my wife, see my friends.
Shout out wife, shout out dog. I don't have a dog or a wife to shout out, but I do have to say, Wool, going to center this disc. So another vertical stack from Harfang here. Looks like Tobe's really trusting in their athleticism, you know, poaching off, taking away some lanes. Dubois going deep, but measured by Ying Chen. Hitting Bousquet on the under. Merrion with the big hook. I believe that looking for Sansang, but there's a crowd in the area. And Bousquet with that skying grab over Lily Huang from Tobe. So the hook putting Harfang back onto the board, now down 6-4. Clay, thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just trying to collect them. I liked the huck choice, not the execution, but Harfang with an excellent read there from, you know, collectively as a team. That was a bit of a weird one as the wind kind of pushed around. Everybody was trying to establish position and then had to change as that disc came down, and the wind can do that. You believe you're in position against the opponent, and then everything changes as the wind messes with it, especially that high up in the air. So sometimes those ones are tough. You want them back because you're like thinking, I just had a misread. I totally should have had that. Or, wow, man, am I ever good at reading when it's windy?
Put that on a t-shirt. Man, am I ever good at reading it when it's windy? Some acronym. Let us know in the chat. All right, standard D-line here for Harfang. We haven't seen them in a bit. Let's see if they can disrupt this Tobe offense that's looked pretty clean. And an out-of-bounds pull, well out of bounds, going into the crowd. I think pulling's going to play a factor here, right? It's a lot easier to play defense when the team has to catch the pull in their end zone than now getting a easy field positioning.
So much talk about it lately in Ultimate Media. The favorite thing I've heard so far from, I don't know his name, but a fellow announcer, is the pull is the start of the defense.
So Huyn over to McRae, Huang working to McRae, and then McRae easily to Trong. And that's a very, very fast hold for Tobe.
Exactly what you want from your offensive line. The fast hold, get it done in 3 throws, force the opponent's O-line to come back out here and face the grindy defense of your very, very quick D-line. And half will be taken at 8 now as the score 7-4. And in the second half, we will be informing you of the cap rules because I suspect they change for finals, but thanks to all the delays, or well, potential delays we are facing in the change in schedule, we want to be very clear when we bring you that information. So we'll do some intrepid reporting at halftime. Intrepid means, you know, willing to face danger and
That's
risk.
wild that you didn't think I know what intrepid meant.
Well, I had to go look it up.
You were correct, but I'm still saying that's wild that you didn't believe in my vocabulary. All right. Big pull here. I believe coming up from Kristen Tam. Tam having some experience in the mixed division playing Union just a couple seasons ago. So big pull over here from Tam. Looks like it'll stay in bounds, unlike some other pulls we've seen this game. But Oul centering to Merrion. Harfang isolating 4 female players. Big grab by Sansang. Now Sansang working it over to Desrosier Cubic. Finding that inside. Nice grab by Filion to keep possession. The visor goes flying, but the disc possession is still there. So Bronco, I believe, no, Sansang over to, oh my goodness, Desrosier Cubic. And the splits on the around backhand, but still found Marion in the end zone.
You know, Devon, something I've noticed in this announcing gig, when we find ourselves having trouble seeing the names of players and how quickly the disc is moving, all that is an indication of an offensive line that is firing on all cylinders.
Firing on all cylinders doesn't mean that you can't have your number readily visible so we know who's catching the disc. But yeah, to comment, I do enjoy the Harfang jerseys, you know. I think Harfang is a species of owl, like a snowy owl in French. And do you see the owl at the front of their jerseys?
Yep.
How do you like it?
I think it's really cool. Seeing more and more teams go with animals, which is pretty fun.
A lot
Coda's
of
here, they're a bear. Red Circus, bear on wheels. You know.
General Strike, you know, a workers' union. Hound, though, another animal. But I have to think Tobe is winning the jersey battle. These reversibles are pretty gas.
That means good.
That means good. All right. Galipo Lessard with the pull. Tobe's O-line hasn't been broken this game. Looking pretty unfazed. Wang centering to Huang. But Harfang in their zone, hoping to disrupt this Tobe offense. McRae back to Wang. Looks like it's going to be Zhang, Huang, and Wang to get them out of this. Kinoshita getting involved under now. McRae here giving to Wang on the close side. The zone seems to be working a bit, keeping them interested. Wang hitting the inside shot to McRae. McRae finding Zhang here on the close side. Zhang not scared to put up some shots, but just using her hands to tell her cutters what they want. McRae with the close side, faking off a couple cuts. Finding the around to Kinoshita. Galipo Lessard so close, but it looks like number 9, Gauvin, intercepting that pass to Ulalan. So, Martin working it quickly. A big huck. Adam Gauvin in acres of space on his own. Can he jump it in? No, just runs just outside the end zone. Gonna need a quick reset, but finds a streaking Galipo Lessard for the first break of Harfang in this mixed final. Harfang getting a break back from something their O-line gave up earlier in the match.
So you saw the nod. I'm not sure if you saw the nod from Simon Martin to say, yeah, I am going to throw this deep to you. Let's go. But what I actually want to highlight is that zone defense that Harfang is running. It was what was interesting about it, and this is a nuance in mixed. It was a male matching player that got the D versus a female matching player in the end zone. And the player that threw the throw, which was a turnover, was a male matching player from Tobe, guarded by a female matching player on Harfang. What Harfang is doing is they're actually setting up default positions in their zone, and they do not mind who has the disc when it comes to gender. It doesn't matter. Everybody just has a positional assignment. And while that is very common in a zone, sometimes it's something we don't see, often make its way onto streams and that sort of thing. So I have had feedback from some viewers asking, well, why are they switching gender? What's the strategy? And that is what it is they were playing a defense that was all about position, right? And not so much about matches. It was putting, a quick female matching player up front to put pressure on the thrower. It was about having a tall male matching player in the back to eat up the deeps.
Yeah, and that's just something a lot of mixed teams will try to exploit. Teams do generally have a taller male matching player in the backfield, so that's why a lot of teams put a female matching player also in the end zone. So when they want to melt, there will likely be a mismatch somewhere down the field that a team can utilize to their advantage.
Yeah.
But we'll see how Harfang can use this momentum to their advantage. Breaks come in pairs, a lot of people say. So we'll see what Harfang can put up to challenge this Tobe O-line again. All right, I believe this could be, no idea, I can't see the number. I don't know who's pulling, but a pretty standard second unit
I believe it's Emile Philibert.
No.
37?
I don't think so.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, sorry. That was
Samuel
number
Nadeau.
17, Samuel Nadeau, with the big pull here. Arcing over to Wang. Wang center to Huang. Looks like a person defense. Crevo Philibert guarding Tan, but Kinoshita cleaning that up. And Tan with the skying grab, finding Trong. In just 3 throws, they're already down the field, working so fast on this tobe side. Trong looking for a reset, finding McCray. McCray faking off that hammer, finding Tan here just at the front of his end zone. Over to Huang. Huang able to tap the toe down to keep it in, and that is tobe taking half 8-6 on Harfang.
Second goal for Huang on the speedy slash cut. One time it was to your right of your screen. Now this to your left. As Devon said, that takes us into halftime. We're going to be back with you in just a second as he conducts an interview with one of the tobe players, Adam Turcotte, I believe, who will be coming up here unless he has been reassigned. So if you need to take a break, half is 7 minutes. Go get yourself whatever you need. If you're on the West Coast, it's probably a coffee. If you're on the East Coast, I don't know how you roll. But do what you ever got to do to take your break. And if you'd like to hear an interview, just stick around for a moment as Turcotte and Devon will be with you on the mic in just a minute. So I was wrong. It is I, Clay, conducting this interview with number 19 from tobe, Adam Turcotte. Adam, you're not playing this game? No, what's going on?
Not. Dealing with some shoulder issues. Was playing the first couple of days, but trying to spend so many years not being the brightest and taking care of my body. So I could maybe play, but I think it's best to make sure I stay healthy.
Okay, well, a smart decision. Welcome to the club. So this game so far, I'd say it's been tight. Harfang did bring that into one, but Devon and I were remarking that your team is just so fast. Is that something you've decided to exploit and use this game, or have there been other adjustments or plans you've had that have been really paying off for you?
If anything, we've tried to contain our pace a little bit in the sense that we are rushing things, and we have so many fast cutters coming from 2 different divisions. It's mostly open and women's players, not many mixed players on this team. So we're almost trying to slow it down a little bit and then use our speed when we have those isolations in the lane. So it does help us, but we want to make sure that we're taking a breath and using our speed when we have space to do it.
Well, you seem to be doing that, and that kind of leads me to ask, was there much talk with your team about how you would take players that are used to a single gender division and play together in a mixed division, or have you found, just thanks to chemistry, it hasn't been that much of an adjustment?
The funny thing is that after day 1, it was so much chaos, and we were like, we have so many great players, what's going on? And then actually Laura Kinoshita and Cindy Trong woke up 6 a.m. in the morning, watched a bunch of GOAT film. There's a lot of GOAT players on this team for the male matching, and they watched our offense and how we played just to see how they can better kind of integrate with our team. And so we figured out, it was like, oh, GOAT likes to cut from the front of the stack and Sixers likes to cut from the back of the stack. Like, how do we figure this out? And once we made that adjustment, it's been really big.
So they quite literally scouted their own players.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating. And commitment, 6 a.m. to
6
look up old film?
I'm not doing that. So kudos to them.
Well, yeah, I guess you'll have to look up some Sixers film in turn now, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All
we
right.
owe them.
And looks like second half is about to get underway. Is there anything you want to see out of your team this half that's got to be different, or you just want to see the same energy? What are you looking for?
They're liking the zone, and for good reason. I would love to see us bring an extra person back, just kind of really overload that space. And they're trying to be loose and contained. So if we have another person and overload them, I think a lot of good things are going to happen. And just keep the vibes high. This team has been made to just have a good time and be friends and be fun. So as long as we got smiles on our face, that's a win in our books.
What a fantastic way to pull for your team, have some fun, and be in a final at the same time. So Adam, thanks for the halftime interview. I'm going to let you go as we get underway. We'll be back. Devon will be back on the mic shortly with me for the second half.
All right. We're back in the half. You're so lucky. You got to talk to Adam Turcotte. What a nice guy, right?
What a nice guy. We had never met before, actually. So that was great. That was really nice.
My bestie.
And some really good things to say about how his team is working. I did talk to Jackie Howe before the game, and they were saying this team's all about fun, a fun time, playing Ultimate with your friends. Their goal for the tournament was to come third or better so that they would qualify for PAOK, a tournament that comes up later on the world stage. And by being in this final, they did so. And as soon as they qualified for the final, they're like, nice, goal met, new goal, gold medal.
Yeah, and very interesting because I don't know they didn't have their full roster at Ontario Regionals to qualify for Nationals, but they ended up coming fourth, right? They took losses to Union and Crash, which put them in that fourth place game. So very nice to see that they kind of rebounded here and retooled to make it to a place where they could be up 8-6 after that first half.
So at halftime, our producer here, we'll call her Sarah Eady, the communications director for Ultimate Canada, who runs the computer, runs the stream, reads the comments when you tell us that you want to see more dog on screen, and we make that happen for you.
Executive producer, Sarah
Executive
Eady.
producer. Let us know that Harfang means snowy owl. So you were right, Devon.
Why wouldn't I be? I'm a French man.
Yeah, of course.
I cosplay as an Anglophone, but
and I just want to shout out Mika, who's on our camera today, following along. And lastly, I think we should shout out to all the wonderful things that make this possible. We've got our sponsors out here today. Discraft supplying us with the game discs, very crucial to this tournament. BE Ultimate, who does the official apparel for the tournament and all the staff wear. We are absolutely digging our blue media shirts. And the fact that we get to play here on the unceded and traditional territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe peoples at Ultimate Parks Incorporated, a wonderful, wonderful facility on land that is absolutely gorgeous and has upheld the elements to allow us to bring you these wonderful matches. And I also want to give a shout out to the LOC of, I don't know if it's Ottawa Ultimate, I don't know the lingo.
Yeah.
But, the volunteers and all the staff from that group who have also made this tournament possible in their home city of Ottawa has just been fantastic.
All right, back to the match. Big pull from Breton Tan here. The usual suspects of Oul centering to Mérion, but the pull lands out of bounds. So Mérion will just get to put this to the brick mark. So that will be Jason Huynh on the mark here, trying to challenge and help Tobe to another break. A nice little wheel play, but that inside going awry, just missing the target here. Tan working to win very quickly. Win unmarked, so taking his time, moving into Tan. Tan back to Win. Win looking for Lamb. So tough to guard such a quick offense. and bid here, but Marcelino able to retain it from the pressure from Houle. And Marion electing to, Houle electing to sit off his mark here. Quinn marking it over to Tan, just trying to navigate this end zone set. We have Aitken there on the far side, finding herself in some space. Over to Ing Chen, finding Lam for the break to start the half. I'm sure that's not how Harfang drew it up coming out of that halftime talk.
Speaking of halftime, Devon, as I was conducting that interview, you had to go get some snacks. We need to stay energetic for you to bring you this broadcast, viewers. And if you were a viewer and you decided to take a break during that halftime, found something very interesting that Adam told me. Their first day on offense, Tobe was chaotic and couldn't make anything happen. And they fought their way through their pools, to get here. But they said they were all over the place. And it turns out the female matching leadership on Tobe the next day was up at 6 a.m. watching old tape of GOAT, where many of the male matching players from Tobe played. And they scouted their own teammates, right, to see how they would cut on the previous open teams they played for. And since then, right, now there is way more flow and understanding of expectations, like expecting what someone is going to do. You have that that information now to predict things. So a fascinating way of adjusting and adapting to an offense that's not clicking, and that's watching tape on your own teammates.
And that's the commitment it takes to get to the national finals, For anyone who's sitting here being like, I hope I can be here that day, if you're not ready to watch tape on your teammates at 6 a.m., I don't know if you're ready to make it to this level. But back to the game. Houle looking for one of his favorite deep targets, Sansang, and that is Tam knocking it away, contesting that deep strike here.
Tam had the read on that all the way. It looked like Sansang hesitated a little, and in doing so, she gave up her position that she had on Tam from the outset. So Tam was able to take the line all the way and never faced a box out, as Sansang seemed to put herself off by a step.
So this is Hwang working it up here, hoping to help punch in this break. Faking off the huck, finding Quo. Quo shouting go, go, go at Tam, but hitting Tam on the under. Working it over to Chow. Lucy Chow, we haven't called her name, but you can see in that pink hat, in the purple hat, sorry. Working it back around to Tam. Tam to Quo. Sorry, Tam to Howe. Airing it out to Quo. Let's see. Big grab required. And
big grab achieved.
Doesn't matter that 3 Harfang defenders were there in the end zone. Count him out. He took them all down.
So that's a break, I believe. Putting the score now to 10-6. Is that 2 breaks in a row, or was that a hold in a break?
That is 2 breaks in a row to start off this half. Took half at 8-6, now up 10-6.
You remarked that Brian Quo started yelling, go, 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 to his receiver. And then he elected not to huck, right? Another nuance in mixed. Sometimes it's telling your fast male matching player that may have, an equivalent defender on him, I'm going to pretend. This is a feign. I want you to go deep, and I want to make everybody think I'm throwing to you such that I can open it up underneath for my other players and take away any poaches. And that's exactly what he did, and then used the quickness underneath of his female matching teammates after his receiver was essentially out of the way. So another smart thing to do, another nuance in the mixed game.
Yeah, a lot of intricacies that you have division by division. So it looks like the same D-line group back out there. I believe that's Kristen Tam pulling again. A nice pull going up. And Harfang electing to go to their D-line here for this offensive hold after their O-line got broken twice. Great sliding grab there by Nadeau. Nadeau, high stall count, just launching it up. Foul called in the end zone by Martin.
May not matter.
But it may not matter because a stall down is called. And I believe it's looking like it's uncontested. So doesn't even matter if this foul stands because
No, you know what? I am seeing Nadeau contest. He's punching his fists together, which is the contest symbol.
So the way Ultimate works when there's multiple calls on the field, you have to resolve them in chronological order. So first you would resolve the stall call for the throw. Then if that goes contested, you would have to, let's say it said, okay, not a stall. Then we'd go look for the foul call. But because we have to go first, we will have to resolve the stall call.
And that's a really good point because if it is contested, that means Nadeau will get the disc back with the stall count coming in at 8, whereby if there was a foul downfield or not, none of that would matter, right? So we need a result from the throw first. And we're just...
And it looks like they're asking the observers. He feels like he got it off in time, but Quinn now asking, okay, fine. If he uncontests the stall, if he retracts the stall call, now what will happen in this downfield call? And it's nice to have 4 observers here. You know, you kind of have 2 on this end, 2 helping to resolve the other call on the end. So stall call is retracted. So now we move to this foul call, and I believe that was retracted as well. So Tobe will retain possession here. Lamb picking up the disc. Lamb finding an unmarked Ing Chen. Now over to Win. And a push-off called. Place. Looks like you saw what happened.
Sure did. That was a great jump cut by Jason Huynh, but I definitely saw an outstretch of his arms while he was in the air to do the push. It is such an instinct, right? It's a really difficult thing to fight against. To me, with the line and angle I saw from up here in the booth and from the camera, it was certainly a push-off. You know, you can make the argument, well, is Huynh going to get open anyway because his check was on the wrong side of where the throw was going? Yes. However, if you commit an infraction, right, well, it's a foul. So the disc does go back.
So I believe it's a contested foul. And Ing Chen will retain the disc. Ing Chen actually, most notably, our 2022 CUC MVP from the mixed division with his play from Union. All right, over to Lee Chan. Back to Lamb. Lamb finding Ing Chen on the inside. Over to Huynh. Huynh with the high release to Ing Chen, just working over this open side here. Now hitting the around to Aitken. And that's another break, 3rd in a row for Tobe, putting them up 11-6. Are they running away with this final, Clay?
They certainly are, up by 5 now. And Devon, have we talked about the speed in the under game of Tobe yet?
No, I don't believe you have.
Psych, we have. That's been their whole effective offense. You know, they definitely have the, tools to get the deeps. But, man, when their handlers turn it on and use great timing from the cutters and some wheels, it felt to me that Win was actually, I wouldn't say angry, but definitely trying a lot harder after having that push-off called against them. And he just gave everything he had into speed that point, and no one could catch him. Harfang has taken
their first time out of the half.
Yep. Score 11-6.
Score 11-6. You know, you kept it close. Only 2 breaks down in the first half, and now you give up 3 breaks to start the second half. That's why the timeout was called, right?
Yeah, you need to, well, yeah. I mean, there's no other way to look at it, right? You have just kind of unraveled a little bit, as you said earlier. Like, what is happening to your team? You've just given up 3 breaks. You were neck to neck with these guys earlier. Is it a mental thing, or is it just a few missed connections and we don't know how to deal with the speed? It's tough to say entirely, but just coming together as a team, I mean, the easiest way to put it, you just have to regroup.
You have to regroup. You have to score. When you mentioned, is it a mental thing? Is it just a physical game? Probably a bit of both. But to speak to the mental side of the game, you definitely have to just, kind of reset your emotions. Reset, okay, we know what happened in the past. We know we got broken. But we have had a lot more holds than breaks in these tournaments so far. So let's remember that. and let's remember to get back to our roots. And those are the things, the routines teams can get into throughout the season of reminding them like what their goals are, what they've accomplished before. So when you get to these big moments, it's just a routine of like, okay, after we get broken, this is what we do. This is how we respond. But speaking of responding, tobe definitely responded to what Turcotte was saying in terms of like how they can break this Harfang O-line. So How over there with the pull. Fielded by Ul. Over to Merion. We see this vert stack wheel play. I believe that's Martin over there. To Merion. To Ul. Finding Dubois. Dubois, big deep threat. Faking off that huck. Ul in the center of the field, hitting the inside there to Martin. Sorry, to Filion. And just a miscommunication there, missing the inside throw. Huynh ready to march it up for this tobe squad. And this defense has been punishing. They don't give the bis back too often. Over to Howe. Howe finding Quo. Taking off a couple deep strikes. Finding Huynh. Huynh looking for Tan. Has a couple steps. And that looked so simple. Huynh to Tan. Two guys who's known each other for a few years now, so that's probably not the first time.
Yeah, Tan enjoyed that one. That disc was in the air. He smiled immediately. He's like, oh, I've seen my friend throw this throw many times, and usually I'm the one getting it. And he had position and the read on that immediately. Harfang, you've just taken a timeout, and you just got broken. The final is now 12-6. The ability to stay into it right now is so difficult. You want to fight to the end, but feeling so deflated, and it looks like tobe has called the timeout.
Yeah, and that's one of the challenges when you go down from a big run in a game, because usually in Ultimate, like when you have an 0 point, you're just focused on that 0 point at hand and scoring. But when you've gotten broken a couple times in a row, have been struggling to start off the second half, you bring in the baggage from the other points. It's not a fresh point that you're just like, okay, it's a new 0 point, we're just trying to hold. You're like, oh, wow, remember that turnover we had that point ago? And it kind of takes your mind off of the task. So these are the few of the mental challenges that come up when you give up some runs. So like I said, you have to go back to your roots of that routine. What do we do before every point to focus on the task at hand and not get bogged down by, all the turnovers, all the blocks that we've given up?
Yeah, you know what? I really like that term, the baggage. How do you get rid of the baggage? I'm going to steal that from you. You're teaching me things every day. It's not just, your Gen Z, Gen Alpha slang. Sometimes
Gen Alpha's
really
crazy.
Good coaching notes.
That's what a master's in sports psychology will give you. Thank you to you, Ottawa, for actually educating me. I do know a little something after finishing that degree. And it looks like tobe took a timeout because this D-line's been on the field a lot of time. They haven't crossed over any O-line people to give some relief. So still getting a lot of run out of, Brett Tan, Jordan Ingchen, Jason Lamb, Brian Quo, the female matching players, Chow, Marcelino. So really trusting in this D-line unit to just keep breaking it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, but that doesn't mean you can get complacent, right, Devon? You got to stick with your plan and execute it perfectly every time.
All right. Centered from Martin, working over to Tremblay-Rémillard. Sansang with a close bid from Quo, but reeled in by Bousquet. Bousquet to Tremblay-Rémillard. And a collision in the field, just a pick. So Tremblay-Rémillard, a D-line handler for this team, but handling on this offensive point as they are giving their O-line a breather. All right, so looking for Harfang will definitely look to reform their stack right now. A little too spread, but nonetheless, deep strike looking for Galipo-Lessard and beating Chow in the end zone to put Harfang. I think that's their first point this half.
It is the first point this half. You see them uplifting each other, sticking out those snowy wings in their arms. A little bit of flapping, if you will, but everybody's staying in it, right? I was just talking about how hard it is to stay engaged when this is happening, right? But it's a final. You got to dig deep and do whatever it takes to keep your team in it.
Now, the task for this Tobe O-line is, hey, we haven't gone on for a while. Do we still remember how to play Ultimate? Do we remember how to catch and throw? I'm sure they've been keeping warm on the sideline, doing a couple A-skips, keeping the legs engaged just so they can go out and run hard on this these final few points. But it looks like the same D-line that just got the hold will look to, put Harfang back into the scoring column. Galipo-Lessard getting ready to pull. She's been trusted with pulling for a fair amount for this this other D-line unit for Harfang. Big pull coming up. Look for typical suspects like Huang and Zhang and Wang to bring Tobe another hold. So isolating Trong, finding Aitken. Looks like Kinoshita drawing two defenders deep. McCrae open in the backfield. Tiffany Zhang just scooping her defender. Huang getting open there with the long pink socks. Over there to D. Wong. Aitken open under, but little push from Trombley Remiard, leaving Kelvin Huang open for the inside shot and going around to Keith McCrae. Tic-tac-toe there for the Tobe hold.
Yep. Short game, speedy offense from Tobe. Doesn't work against every team, but it is certainly working against Harfang. And, I'm not seeing anybody slowing down. I'm not seeing anybody get complacent out there, right? They are running this system with the full vigor that they did at the beginning of the game. And it's paying off.
So 13-7 here.
A tough position to be in.
Tough position to be in. Harfang in their first finals, first national final as a program. Where do you sit at the, we came here, we've clearly competed, we won some good games, they won their pool play, so they're actually undefeated at this point in the tournament.
Yeah.
Tobe can't say the same, losing an early matchup to Union in pool play, so they had to play pre-quarters and then quarters and then semis. How do you feel if you're Harfang?
This is going to sting if you can't make up the 8 points and stop the 2, right, that your opponent needs right now. So if you lose, this is going to hurt because you were in the final. It's always difficult to lose any final. However, I'm sure Harfang will be able to reflect on their finish this year compared to last. If they choose to go to PAOK, they've qualified, right? So there's a lot of great things that have come from their placement and will continue to come from their placement in this tournament. But, a difficult sentiment or thought to have right now. If you're Harfang, you want to push those thoughts out. That's why I'm speaking a little quietly right now, because you want to win right now, right? Nothing else matters.
All right. So we saw a poach bid there from Jackie Howe in front of number 47, Desrosier Cubic, causing her to bobble.
Yeah, causing her to bobble, but then also trip over them. Foul, no contest. So this is interesting. Howe agrees that that Desrosier Cubic had to let up because she was avoiding contact. And you see Howe getting the yellow card on screen. He's a little disappointed, but at the same time, what it was, his decision, it's all about the decision, was going to result in a potentially dangerous situation. So he does get the dangerous play card for that.
All right, so that was a little hook from Bousquet, and it looks like Tan coming up with the D. And we'll just Yeah, working it up to Ulalin. Ulalin back to Tan. How athletic is he? And a big throw here, looking for Howe. It's gonna float. And a big bid reeled in by Jackie Howe. You said on the beginning he's on your TC Master Open team, but looking good in the senior division.
Looking good in the senior division. I'm going to wait to give the viewers a fun fact about Jackie's performance this year if Tobe takes the win, because he said, Clay, you better not jinx it.
Okay, but with layouts like that, you better be giving him some playing time in California in November, right, Clay?
Well, you know, Jackie's showing us what his job is going to be. I'm sure his teammates on TC will take a look at this and say, oh, Jackie has that. But, you know, it's Jackie. He's done lots of that in his ultimate career, having played for GOAT and Furious George. They all know what his height and speed is capable of and his athletic play. I do want to go back to the card he received, not to harp on it, but what's interesting is I just want to remind everybody about the dangerous play, how it's assessed by the observers and everyone else. It is not about the result. You saw after that tumble with De Rosier Cubique, she was okay, right? She was okay. No one really got hurt, and you'd say, well, it didn't seem dangerous because everybody was fine and the contact seemed low, but she did let up just in case. But also, right, it is all about the decision made in that moment, whether it was a potentially dangerous decision. And observers at the Canadian Ultimate Championships for the foreseeable future, I'm not a competition director, but will be all about the decisions you make and keeping other players safe, not what happens after you've made that decision.
So potentially final point here, match point for Tobe. We're going to see a big pull come from Brian Kuo, U24 participant or competitor in 2019 in Heidelberg, Germany with the Open team. A big OI pull here. Offside called. So, yep, offside called. So where is Harfang able to bring the disc up now?
So the offside call, if they let it hit the ground, they can bring it to the brick, that marker, 15 yards outside of the end zone in the center of the field.
All right, and this is Martin starting off with the disc, dumping it off to Tremblay-Rémiard, taking the disc back, faking a hook. Just working with Tremblay-Rémiard right now, putting up a big hook here to, looks like he found Martin for the score. Looking for Galipo Lessard to start, but Martin cleaning up the garbage.
And hitting the ground with his elbows first is what let him in. I see some of the Tobe players asking, I thought he landed on the line, but observer Chazzy over there saying, no, his elbows hit the ground first inside the end zone after he had caught it.
I actually think that was a rare feat pulled off on that O-line where only 2 people touched the disc the entire time.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah.
But nonetheless, a hold, giving them their 8th point of the game, 2nd point of the half. Now we might be seeing this Tobe O-line on for the final time here. Just needing one more point to taste that national championship.
So I have been informed, because I said I was going to find this out. The finals are hard capped today. All games have the same timing as the rest, so it's an 85-minute time slot. So we are approaching the end.
All right, big pull up here from Nadeau. Usual O-line suspects. Tobe trusts to bring us in. Lamb centering to Zhang. Zhang gonna have to deal with some male matching marks here. Easy OI flick around Philibert. McCray over to Zhang. Looks like they're electing to stick with their zone, Harfang is. Huang elevating but keeping his toes in bound. And almost a Callahan there from Tremblay-Rémiard, but Wang keeping it. And we have a miraculous save. Galipo Lessard knocking this, but McCray cleaning up the seconds to keep this possession alive. Zhang around to McRae, and I think McRae's going to holster over to Wang, and that was the big man from Harfang knocking it down. Philibert imploring his team to go out faster on this fast break, but Tremblay Remiard throwing into the Kinoshita defense, and Sidney Trong going to throw to Kelvin Huang. Is this for the goal? Yes, it is. Toronto is back in the mixed winning circle.
Congratulations to Tobe, coming together as friends, wanting to have fun, achieved the top three, what they wanted, and then getting their bonus goal, winning Canadian Nationals, the Ultimate Championships. They are the Canadian Ultimate Champions of the mixed division in 2024. I didn't want to say it earlier, but I will say it now. Jackie Howe doubling up, a Golden Masters, a Golden Seniors. I don't know how many people have that stat line that they can fall back on.
He played with Dead Circus?
No, he won in mixed division. In both divisions, in mixed Masters and in mixed. Jackie coming away with 2 golds after his season in the summer in the Canadian Ultimate Championship Series.
Is he the first ever to do it?
I don't know. I would really love to hear the history on that. He could be the first. I have no idea, but a really neat achievement.
Regardless, we are signing off. We will see you in a bit on Rogers TV for a salty from Halifax, Nova Scotia final against Stella from Ottawa. Thank you for watching.